Assalamu alaikum, good evening and welcome to Catering Circle Season 3. Bigger, better, and let's say it's the Catering Circle World Cup. Before we carry on, let's see where we left off. Let's see a clip from Season 2. There we saw a recap of Season 2, but now we're in Season 3. So what's Season 3 about? Let's find out. Season 3 will be looking to find a restaurant star from the 12 winners of Season 2. The show focuses on innovation, pricing and marketing. They'll be battling it out to be crowned Restaurant Star Award. Winners submit their recipe before filming and the show. Catering Circle will visit each restaurant and film the cooking before first 3 episodes of the live shows. But we have our judges here today, and it's the judges' responsibility to give out the scores. At the same time, we have 3 panel judges and we have 4 special judges. Let's first meet our panel judges for tonight. First of all, if I go to Mr. Ahmadus Samad Chaudhry, the chairman of Channel S, chief advisor to the Catering Circle, a community champion, and someone who's actually dedicated most of their life bridging the gap between communities. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. And next to, we have, in the middle, we have Julia Erdl. She's a chef and educator. You've been on TV quite a few times as well, and also you're also a master craftsman member of the Craft of Gills. Welcome to the show. And next to me, we have Mr. Shahagir Bakht Farooq, ex-president of BCCI. Also, he's written a book called Food Hygiene. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. At the same time, we've also got our mentors, and our mentors' job has actually been very, very hard. So I think we should meet our mentors as well. First of all, we have Mr. Atikur Rahman, who's a chef consultant, also working with different TV channels, creating their own NTVs, showing off your cooking skills, and Channel 9. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum. Also, we have someone who's a very familiar face to the Catering Circle, Mr. Abdul Haq Habib. He's the chairman of ICRA International and the MD of London Training Centre. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. And also we have Mr. Abdul Bari. Everybody knows Mr. Bari. He's been with us for a long time. He's a successful businessman and a community activist, also the MD of Royal Regency and Regency Events. Welcome. At the same time, we also have our special judges, and it would not be fair if we don't actually introduce our special judges. First, we have Mr. Tanim Chaudhry, the GM of Purple Eye Technologies, providing IT solutions to the catering industry. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Next to him, we have Ms. Shahina Ali, a celebrity chef, a TV and radio food expert. She's also been a BBC expert on nutrition, natural herbal medicine, healthy food and cookery. Welcome to the show. Next up, we have another young lady as well. We have Dr. Zaki Razwana Anwar. She's an inspirational British Bangladeshi woman, known for her attributes such as medical contribution coupled by her media career. Welcome to the show. Thank you. And last but not least, we have our very good friend, Mr. Rahul Shamsuddin, executive member of Catering Circle and a multi-cuisine operator. Assalamu alaikum. Now, guys, we've met our judges and we've met the mentors and we've also met the special judges. But what's the show actually about? Well, the show is actually finding out the winners from season 2. They actually had a long task. The first thing they had to do was submit their recipe and before filming and the show. And then the catering circle actually visited each restaurant, do some filming before the first 3 episodes. Tonight we're going to find out from the very first 4 contestants who's going to go through. It's all based about scores and points. So judges, you're all in the hot seats tonight. So you've got a big task in front of you. So take note, ask loads of questions and enjoy yourselves. Now, the panel judges, you're responsible. You'll have 20% of the vote each. That's 60% between the 3 of you. So good luck to you guys. And obviously here we have our special judges. You've all got 10% each. So no biasness, please. I hope no one's been giving any extra rush malai or gulab jam in any hand. Please, 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 we want to make sure we get the best out of everyone tonight. So have fun. Now let's go and move on to round 1. Let's have a look at our creative dishes and see who the contestants of episode 1 are. This year, we've done things very, very different. And as you know, we found our special judges and our panel judges. But what we've done this year is we've actually got the diners review in today. And before we actually carry on, we actually want to find out from our panel judges, what are you expecting from the contestants today? If we can ask with the lady in the middle. Huli, what are you expecting from the actual contestants today?
Well, I'd like to see a good balance of the dish. Colour, texture, flavour. Are we going to get to taste the dishes? We might get a little, maybe, okay, that would be good. I'd like to see a nice balance on the plate, a little bit of height, a nice balance of the colours and the flavours and, the different variety of dishes and maybe some, a little bit of, implementation of some of the food trends, maybe some micro herbs, something like that, a little bit of, healthy flavours in there. So, yeah.
So really, just really trying to meet customer expectations.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Really follow what's on trend right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
If I can move on and ask Mr. Samad.
Well, it's very simple. First of all, I would be looking for taste because the ultimate goal is to find some dishes which will be introduced nationally. I would also be looking at presentation, whether it is healthy and the texture, and overall the pricing, what sort of price they will be selling it for.
Sure, brilliant. And if I can lastly ask Mr. Farouk, your thoughts?
Yes, my thought will be to first of all to go for organoleptic testing. By organoleptic testing, I mean I will look at the food with my eyes, I'll taste it with my lips, I'll touch it with my finger. So with all the organs, I'll do my first testing. And if I find that they have passed the testing, the first one, then I will say yes, thumbs up.
Fantastic. That's good, I think. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And if I can go to our special judges. Obviously, judges, what are you expecting? If I can ask Shahina, what are you expecting today from?
Well, like Julia said, I think it's really important to see how they incorporate the trends as well as the big trend that's healthy food at the moment, with the different combinations of ingredients that's available in the shops and also suppliers nowadays, and how much they can fit within the budget as well, because that's really important nowadays as well in the economy. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you, Shahina. If I can pass it on to Mr. Rahul. Obviously, you yourself, you're a multi-cuisine operator. What would you expect from the contestants today?
Yeah, so I just wanted to see how healthy it can be. How healthy are we actually doing the dishes? Because some cases we are saying healthy, but it's not actually healthy. Want to see the current trends, how current, how young, and how the produce that we're using, how fresh.
The local produce is important.
Yeah, it's very important, and there are some restaurants out there who are shouting about it and making the right noises. So I just want to see, so let's see.
It's brilliant, fantastic news. So we've heard from our panel judges, and we've also heard from our special judges. I think this year it's quite interesting because we've actually got the diner's review, which is very, very important. We've actually got the end user, which is the customer. We've actually given the customers, each contestant, a job to actually five customers for them to actually sample this new dish. And the criteria we'll be looking at is presentation, taste, innovation, and value for money. Obviously, one of our mentors here, Mr. Atikur Rahman, you're a chef yourself, and obviously, what are your thoughts from a diner's point of view, his perspective? What do you think a customer is looking for in a dish?
Well, I can say thank you, Halal Malik. Anyway, and I'm just I can say about Jalali chicken. Is a first thing is very good name, Jalali chicken here, and it's lot of green herbs and is and healthier. And it's very easy to make, and taste was, believe me, I try, is fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Atik. Yeah, thank you. I think in my hand I've already got the. We actually got the diners to. We actually got some more time to actually take some more comments, which is good. I've just been told. So, if I can ask Mr. Habib, obviously you're in the health and safety, with your training. I mean, what emphasis would you think is important from a diner's perspective when we look at actually diner's review?
Yes, of course. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Halal Bhai. First of all, I think authenticity, creativity, and innovation. These are the three key words. And being a mentor of one of the restaurants here, what I've seen and witnessed is that the mentee, the person who has created that dish, he has demonstrated all of those qualities in a fantastic way. So what I'm looking to see is that through, I want him to inspire a generation, because this is the key here. If we can inspire a new generation of chef and celebrity chef who can contribute more to revitalize our catering sector, that will be fantastic.
Thank you very much. And obviously, Mr. Burrow, you're also a mentor to one of the contestants. What are your thoughts from your observation being a mentor?
Well, I think I'm looking for practical dishes, and sort of nicely priced, and customers should have. It should be trendy and it should be practical to serve in the restaurant. That's what we're looking for.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you. For great news, guys. I've actually already, our 4 contestants, they had some time to actually get some diners' reviews in, and we've actually got the results. And I'm going to press my little button on my screen, and we'll find out what the results are so far. In first place, we have the name of the dish, and it's 90%, or 90 points actually, not percent, 90 points. 86, 17, 67. So at the moment, it looks like it's very, very close. There's lots more to do. We've actually got the customers' reviews and their thoughts on the dishes they've been presented with, which is a good start. We have Salman Aspara, which is an unusual name. I like that name. And then I've got slow roast ox cheek, which is 86 points. And then I've got Kalanji, which is 70 points. And then we have Jalali chicken with 67 points. It seems very, very close. Still got lots of time. It's got lots of points, so obviously it's close. So let's see what happens. Very, very soon. Now, obviously, special judges. Obviously, you've just heard the names of these unusual dishes. Your first initial thoughts from what you've heard about these dish names, without even realising what they are or what they could be.
They sound very intriguing. I think that salmon aspara sounds very interesting, because obviously there's a salmon, but the aspara as well. Is that an ingredient or is that a name? What's it related
So there's a little bit of curiosity there, which is
yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Which is good. Fantastic.
Totally.
Fantastic. And if I can ask Dr. Zakiri as well, your thoughts on the names?
I think by the look at the name of the dishes, if I'm a customer, I don't like complicated name, because if I would by the look at the name of that, I would like to come to a conclusion that what could be the ingredients. So like salmon aspara, I can relate that it could be salmon and asparagus, which sounds healthy, but and also I like short names.
Sure,
so
sure.
so the customers
The names are
will
important.
remember that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
If I can go to our panel judges, obviously if I can ask Mr. Samad, from the names that you can see on the screen, what's your initial thoughts?
Well, I can see that there is a fish, there is a kalanji red, I don't know what it is, whether it's got meat, chicken or fish, and the roast ox cheek. The other one is Jalali chicken. So as we wish to promote curry, I think Jalali chicken is a curry-based dish.
It's got a story
So I
behind
want to
it.
see and how it is made, how tasty it is, and how popular it is by the the diners.
I think what was happening. It's interesting to get everyone's feedback, and I think in round two we'll actually find out what's the story behind these names and what are we going to be finding in these dishes, because it's right now it's a bit of suspense and a bit of secrecy. So let's go on to round two and see. Let's go on to round two. We're in round two now, so I think it's time to actually find out the story behind these names of these dishes and who the contestants are and the restaurants are and what is their recipe for this. So if I can now first of all call on stage, if I can first of all, before we do that, if we can go to the video recipe, and that'd be grand. Thank you.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি আজকে একটা নতুন ডিশ কাফে মুসলাতনে বানাইতেছি, কমপ্লিটলি নতুন সিলেটি ডিশ জালালি চিকেন। এইটা আমার স্পেশাল রেসিপি। জালালি চিকেন বানাইতে কোরিয়ান্ডার, গ্রিন চিলি, পেপার, টমেটো, গার্লিক, ফ্রেশ মিন্ট। এইটা জালালি চিকেন আমাদের নিজস্ব রেসিপি ডিফারেন্ট বানাই, তান্দুরি হইয়া আসে। তো অয়েল লইলাম, সামান্য গার্লিক, 1 চামচ পেঁয়াজ কুচি, ব্রাউন হওয়ার পরে সামান্য লবণ পরিমাণ মতো, সামান্য মেথি পাতা, পরিমাণ মতো মিক্স পাউডার, সামান্য চিলি, ওভার চাইলে একটু বেশি দেওয়া হবে, টমেটো পুরি 2 চামচ, এরপরে চিকেন টিক্কা, স্পেশাল রেসিপি সস 1 চামচ, এরপরে একটু গার্লিক, কোরিয়ান্ডার, টমেটো, এই মেইন ডিশের সাথে জালালি চিকেন টিক্কা স্টার্টার সার্ভ করবো। বানানি ভেরি সিম্পল। থ্যাংক ইউ।
This is very healthy because it contains low fat, low ghee. The chicken is flame grilled before it's put into a sauce. It's also served as starter.
একটা খুব হেলদি একটা গ্রিন চাটনি বানানো হয়েছিল। চিকেন টিক্কা যেটা আছিল এটা গ্রিল চিকেন টিক্কা আছিল এবং যে অয়েলটা ইউজ করা হয়েছে অলিভ অয়েল, সব মিলাইয়া টোটালি একটা হেলদি রেসিপি। এবং আমরা সবে ডিশটা বানানোর পরে সবে খাইয়া ডিশটা এনজয় করছি এবং আমি আশাবাদী যে আমরা উইন করবো।
the recipe and the dish Jalali chicken from Cafe Masala. Unfortunately, Adnan Hussein cannot join us tonight, so if we can move on and get see the video clip for our next contestant, please.
We're going to show you today a recipe that we devised between ourselves, and slow roasted ox cheek with wilted spinach and aloo borta. So this is the ox cheek that we have. I'm going to pass it on to the chef to tell you what spices we need in there to do the marination.
Marination আমি করব এটা ফার্স্ট আমি আদা রসুন ইউজ করব সল্ট লাগবো এটা গরম মশলা and chili powder, turmeric powder, cumin powder and dhania powder and yogurt. And some vegetable oil here. আমরা বাঙালি স্টাইলে আমরা আলু ভর্তা বানাইমু আর এটার লগে একটা টমেটো সালাদ কারিরে আরো অ্যাট্রাকটিভ করার লাগে এটা আমরা আপনার স্পিনিচ একটা ভাজি বানাইমু ফ্রেশ স্পিনিচ এটা এতক্ষণ আমি ম্যারিনেশন করলাম এখন আমার দরকার আছে এটা 3 আওয়ার্স রুম টেম্পারেচারে আমি রাখবো আমাদের ম্যারিনেশন শেষ এখন এটা আমরা ওভেনে ঢুকাবো কুক করার জন্য আমার বিফ তো কুক হতে হতে যে টাইম আছে ওটার ভিতরে আমি আলু ভর্তা বানাইবো এখন আমরা স্পিনিচ প্যান ফ্রাই করব
This is a slow roasted ox cheek ready, and so we're going to decorate the plate. This is the ox cheek juice that it was cooked in. Just for some garnish, we'll do some dried parsley, like a parsley does. So this is our slow roasted ox cheek. Thank you. I think we don't use enough different meats, so I wanted to highlight using different meats such as ox cheek, chicken liver, calf liver, lamb neck. So that's why I went for the ox cheek.
The chef and the whole team has created such a dish which has the opportunity and the potential to become a national dish.
We've just seen the video clip of Mumtaz Restaurant Slow Roast Ox Cheek. If I can ask Mr. Zia Chaudhry, hi there, how are you? Walaikum assalam, you well?
Yes.
Fantastic. We want to know, I love the name, Ox Cheek's really, really good, very clever. You've got 2 minutes to actually share what's your story with us, and your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, the reason, first of all, I went for this name, Slow Roasted Ox Cheek, is we wanted to highlight that our menu writing at the moment is just about herbs, spices, and chef special sauce. What a lot of the higher end restaurants and better restaurants are doing are just giving the ingredients names, and it's straight to the point. Customer sees it, understands it straight away. So the full name of my dish is slow roasted ox cheek, wilted spinach, aloo borta, tomato chutney. It's got everything on the ingredients there. Simple, customer can understand it. Is absolutely fantastic. So the why we chose the dish is because I don't think in our restaurants we use chicken, lamb, king prawn basics, and we don't go that step further. To wow our customers, we need to go a bit step further and sort of use different types of fish. So if I used a fish dish, I wouldn't go for sea bass or salmon. I'll probably go for mackerel, which is like a sustainable fish, which the top chefs are using. So I went for offal. You know, we don't use enough offal, and it's still easy to cook. All our 90% of our chefs would be able to do it because it's cooked in the same way, the techniques that they already have and use, and they can use that sort of creativity that they already have and cook that dish. So, I mean, in terms of the plate itself, it's got everything on it. So instead of the rice, we put potato. So substituted for rice is potato, which a lot of us don't realize, but it's got the meat on there, the potato on there, tomato chutney on there, which gives that refreshing taste as well as a kind of a salad. So it's got a full balanced plate of food for one price, I think. So I think that's a highlight as well of the. And to, I think, decrease our menus, we need to have extraordinary dishes on there. So if we want to decrease our menus, which my point is, like, if I want to take 20 dishes off there, I've got
I'll
to
let
have...
you finish your last sentence.
Yeah, I've got to have 5 outstanding dishes on there, so that'll take off 20 dishes. So that's to decrease our menu, we need to
Fantastic.
elevate
Thank you
it.
very much. That's grand.
Thank you.
Just over, but brilliant. Very good. If I can go to our panel judges, obviously, Julia, you're a chef and a consultant, yeah? What are your comments?
Well, this dish in particular really stood out for me, to be honest. It's right up my street. It's a kind of food that I absolutely love, and I agree that in our sector, and you know, because I'm Turkish as well, and so I can say that, you know, there's obviously an affinity with the Asian community as well. We don't use these parts of the animals often enough, and I completely agree with you, wholeheartedly right, that if you're going to take off a load of dishes, and we do need to reduce our menus because there's too many dishes on there. I'm saying this all the time. You need to put on something really spectacular. So I love what you're doing, and it looks beautiful. It looked really tasty. What temperature? Well. I bet it did. I said I want a taste of that. What temperature did you cook it on?
So it's preheat the oven half an hour before.
Yeah.
So probably about 190, and then about 250 is just like slow, probably about 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Slow.
Lovely.
That's grand. Thank you. Yep. There's lots of questions, and there's been lots
Yes, I
of
have
going
a
on.
question.
Yep. Very briefly, Mr. Lee.
Yeah. If it takes 2.5 hours, if the customer goes in there and he or she orders this dish, how long would it take?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll take more. We'll take more questions a bit further on, if that's okay. Yeah, because we've got to move on. Thank you very much.
Thank
if
you.
we can go on to the next clip and look at where salmon aspara was made. Let's go to the next clip.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম আমরা আজকে একটা নতুন ডিশ আপনারা কুক করে দেখাইমু ডিশটার নাম হইল সালমান আসপারা সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল লাগবো আমার অলিভ অয়েল মাস্টার্ড পেস্ট চিলি পাউডার মিন্ট পেস্ট সি সল্ট হলদি পাউডার গরম মশলা লেমন ফ্রেশ লাইম এগুলা লাগবো আমার সালমান ফিশে ম্যারিনেট করতে সেকেন্ড পার্ট আমার আসপারাগাসটা কুক করতে লাগবো হোয়াইট অনিয়ন্স ব্ল্যাক পেপার সি সল্ট ক্রাশড চিলি গার্লিক পেস্ট অ্যান্ড অলিভ অয়েল অ্যাগেন এখন আমি সালমান ফিশটা ম্যারিনেট করতে যাইমু এক্সট্রা ভার্জিন অলিভ অয়েল হাফ কাপ দিম এখন এখন আমি এটা চিলারও রাখে দিব 10 মিনিটের লাগে আমার সালমন এখন ম্যারিনেট হয়ে গেছে 10 মিনিটস এখন আমি এটা 10 মিনিটস স্টিম কুকিং করব এই সালমান ফিশটা কুকিং হইতে হইতে আমরা ওই আসপারাগাসটারে এখন ম্যারিনেট করব অলিভ অয়েলটা একটু গরম হইলে আমি এটা হাফ কাপ হোয়াইট অনিয়ন্স দেবো এখন আমি আরও কিছু ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস দিমু। আমার অ্যাসপারাগাস রেডি হয়ে গেছে। এখন আমি এটারে সার্ভিং প্লেটও রাখবো সার্ভ করার লাগি। খেয়াল রাখবা যাতে বেশি বয়েল না হয়। আমার সালমান ফিশটা কুক হয়ে গেছে। হয়ে গেল আমাদের সালমান আসপারা। থ্যাংক ইউ।
This dish uses fresh ingredients and healthy ingredients. And also the process of cooking is steam cooked rather than fried or grilling. It's simple, it's fresh, it's healthy, and all hopefully everything that the judges are looking for.
ডিশটা যেভাবে প্রেজেন্ট করা হয়েছে খুবই ইজি এবং শেফে বানাইতে তেমন একটা অসুবিধা হওয়ার কথা না। আমি মনে করি ডিশটা মানে খুবই পপুলার হবে।
That dish looked absolutely yummy. It's already made me feel hungry. I think we need to know who's made that dish. So if I can ask Mr. Abdul Kashim from Chili Bar and Kitchen to come on stage and talk to us a little bit about your dish, salmon aspara. And you've got 2 minutes to talk about what's your story, and time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum. When Catering Circle asked us to create a unique dish, we were up for the challenge. However, when we set out to create our unique dish, I, together with my chefs, agreed on certain criteria the dish had to meet, which were number one, as most restaurants don't change their menu often, we needed fresh ingredients that were readily available throughout the year. Ingredients that were available in most shops or supermarkets. Number two, the dish needed to have certain health benefits. It needed to be low in calories, high in vitamins and minerals. No artificial colorings or flavorings were to be used. Number three, timing. We need to create a dish that could be freshly prepped, cooked, served all under 30 minutes. As diners are not prepared to wait any longer than this for their main course, time is of the essence. So we came up with a dish which we call salmon aspara. The name is derived from the two main ingredients, salmon and asparagus. We could have given it a more exotic name. However, we felt the customer should be able to tell instantly what the dish is about before even reading the description. This dish pretty much does what it says on the tin. Fresh Scottish salmon marinated with various spices, olive oil, lemon juice. It is then steam cooked and served on a bed of spicy, crisp, pan-fried asparagus, finished with basmati rice or a mixed salad. A perfect dish for a summer menu. A simple, easy and quick dish to make. Any member of staff can be trained to make this dish in a matter of hours. The wow factor is that it's an innovative dish developed for the health-conscious clientele. The method of cooking we chose, steam cooking, offers two benefits. It doesn't dry out the fish, the flesh of the fish, and because it's being cooked at a lower temperature than other methods of cooking, it helps preserve the beneficial omega-3 fatty acids.
Thank you very much, discussion. That's grand, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If we can quickly move on and go to our next clip, please.
আজকে আমি আপনাদেরকে নতুন একটা ডিশ তৈরি করে দেখাবো। ডিশটার নাম হলো খালাঞ্জি, সিবাস দিয়ে বানানো হবে। এই ডিশটা তৈরি করতে যা যা লাগে আমি আপনাদেরকে বলে দিচ্ছি। প্রথমে ফিলেট সিবাস 2 পিস লাগবে। এখানে আছে মিক্স পাউডার, লেমন আছে, এখানে টাইগার প্রন আছে, লেমন লিফ আছে, চেরি টমেটো আছে, গার্লিক চপ করা আছে, এখানে ফ্রেশ স্প্যানিশ আছে, আর এইটা হলো কর্নফ্লাওয়ার পেস্ট। পরে এই টমেটোগুলো দিয়ে দেবো। কালাঞ্জি আমাদের এখন রান্না শেষ হয়ে গেছে। এখন কিভাবে ডেকোরেশন করব আমি আপনাদেরকে দেখাবো। এই হলো আমাদের কালাঞ্জি।
Spent a bit of time in the Italian restaurant, and they had a great dish, sea bass, where customers loved it. So the idea came from there.
It's quite unique. The fusion between Italian food and Indian fused together works really well.
We've seen the video. Now let's talk to Mr. Aziz Mia from Red Indian and tell us about your kalanji dish. And you have 2 minutes and your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. First of all, name Kalanji is simple. It's Indian for sea bass. So for me, I like simple things. Like my name, Red. It's easy to market. So the name itself got people kind of thinking about what's Kalanji. So that's the idea behind the name. As you can see from the video, it's fillet sea bass, which is lightly marinated with mixed spice and coated in corn flour, then pan fried. Sea bass is topped with medium hot, sweet and sour dry sauce that consists of tiger prawn, cherry tomatoes and a hint of lime leaves as well. This is served on a bed of fresh spinach, lightly sauteed with garlic, and this is pre-plated and accompanied with lemon and coriander rice. Why? When we're trying to create a unique dish, you look for inspiration from somewhere. You go to chef, you research, maybe you add somewhere. For me, my inspiration comes from Italian kitchen, and as I said, the sea bass was a really popular dish. So adapting it with authentic flavors of Indian flavors definitely for me gives it the wow element to it. When we look at fish as well, fish always has positive health elements to it. Doctors tell you, eat fish twice a week. There's a reason behind that, because the benefits of health is really good. So it's low in calorie, major source of protein and omega-3 fatty acids as well. So, for me, the dish is different. It elevates your menu as well. What I've recently found out as well, we've created a vegan menu as well as a summer menu. There's crustarians out there who want something different. This dish for me brings that kind of niche market into my business as well. So a couple of the reviewers were crustarians, something new, but again, the vegetarians who we eat fish, so I know there's a niche market out there for those guys as well. So elevating my menu with a sea bass dish definitely would bring that wow element to it. Thank you very much.
Bang on time. Thank you very much, Aziz. Done really well there. Thank you. Obviously, we're going to hear from our judges soon. Obviously, there's some comments coming from both our panel judges and our special judges. But before that, we need to go for a short break. Be back soon. Welcome back after the break. It's getting intense now, I think, and we've heard from our contestants, and I think it's about time we heard something from our judges. Mr. Samad, obviously you've heard from the contestants there. What are your comments so far?
Well, my comment,
Without being biased
main
to
one,
anybody, yeah.
main one is the cost, the price. So we don't want something, a price, ridiculous price, for it. So it would be a good idea to know.
I think we'll be looking into that a bit later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, some of them, I'm concerned that being a restaurateur, we know that customers, although they're on occasion prepared to allow time, but if it takes 30, 20 minutes, and if it is busy, then there is a question.
Sure.
So how would they cope with it?
So moving on, obviously this round's particularly about the dish itself. If I can ask Mr. Farouk, your thoughts so far from what you've heard.
Yes, I think all of them had very interesting stories, and I like all of them telling their own stories, and they're very careful about the ingredient they use, and health-wise they're very I mean,
but the wow factor and the
Yes.
health impact and
exactly, and they are taking into account what the customers will go for, whether they will go for steam cooking or fried cooking or whatever, healthy options. So these are some of the new things that they are very much aware of nowadays.
In terms of food innovation, but also looking at things like value for money, the
Exactly.
taste and the
Yes,
aroma, like you
yes,
mentioned.
yes.
So obviously, I think everyone's feeling a little bit hungry watching those.
Yes.
If I can move on to our special judges, if I can ask Mr. Tanim, your thoughts so far from what you've heard?
Well, what we have seen so far today, it's a sign of creativity. It's a total demonstration of innovation. Okay, so I would like to congratulate all the contestants so far for what they've done. They haven't just got involved in a competition, they are leading by example. So congratulations once again. But I would want to find out the motivation side of their efforts so far, what motivates them. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking for in the round one.
Brilliant. If I can quickly ask Shaheen, obviously, I mean, being a chef yourself and working in the field of nutrition and the impact of health, what are your thoughts so far from what you've heard from the actual dishes themselves?
I think, like I said earlier, it's definitely a case where they've been quite thoughtful about where what kind of ingredients they're using, the health aspect of it, and the audience that they're trying to reach as well. But I think it's quite interesting to find out about the costing, definitely.
Fingers crossed, hopefully we'll find out very, very soon.
Yes.
And very quickly, if I can ask Ms. Zakaria also as well, what are your
first
thoughts?
of all, I would like to congratulate all of them because they have put a lot of efforts on that, and it was really thoughtful, and it was nice to see because these days people are becoming more and more health conscious. They love tasty food, but at the same time they like the healthiest item. So it's nice to see that they are saying that they are using extra virgin olive oil, sea salt. I haven't heard any restaurateurs they have used sea salt, which is it has got loads of health benefits. So sea salt and the steaming of the I'm very pleased.
So using new ingredients and also new cooking techniques is also making a big difference.
Exactly. And some of the items, some of the dishes are so simple. Even a novice like me, I can try. When I go home, I will try some of these.
I will as well. I'll join you as well. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've heard from my panel judges and we've heard from my special judges, and I think it's about time we find out what the scores are so far. From what we've found out so far, and at the same time, I mean, there's a lot that obviously you as judges, you've got a lot to do coming up. Obviously, the panel judges, you have 60%, 20 marks each. So I know you're taking loads of notes, which is good. And obviously, we've got our special judges. You've also got 40% of the votes, and I know everyone's taking notes, which is great fun. And I think very soon we will actually find out from what are the scores so far. So if we look, and before I do that, if I can ask Mr. Rahul, obviously you're a entrepreneur and a multi-cuisine operator. Obviously you've heard of all these new names and simple names, sometimes they often say simplicity is the best way. What are your thoughts from what you've heard so far from our contestants?
Okay. Well, so far, I mean, I've seen there's a lot of sophistication on the labelling of the engineering of the menu and so on. I feel inspired. I hope other restaurateurs feel inspired as well. I've advanced from beans on toast to this, what I've just seen. So, yes, so I'm inspired. So, yeah, it's good.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I think the results are in for round one. If I press my little button and look on the screen for round two, currently we have slow roast ox, which is made by Momtaz. They've got 26 points, and then we've got salmon aspara with 24 points, kalinji with 8 points, and jalali chicken with 6 points. Now, if we combine the scores together, the scores, if it's a little change, do we have a change there at all? They still, it's still staying the same. We still have slow roast ox with 26 points, and salmon aspara with 24, kalinji red with 8 points, and jalali chicken with 6 points. So there's nothing to lose. We have 2 more rounds, so let's see what happens. If we can now move on to round 3. That'll be good. We found out what the dishes are, and we've already know that some of the diners have actually had some of these dishes, but it's actually about marketing and branding. How will you actually market and brand this product to your customers? So if I can ask the contestants, obviously before we do that, we need to vote as well at the same time, so bear that in mind. If we can ask the judges first, judges, the special judges themselves, obviously marketing, branding, what tips can you give them? If I start with Shahina, yeah?
Yes, I think they're doing quite well in terms of looking at new customer bases, so especially the vegan, vegetarian customer bases, and bringing them in, and they're ever growing as well.
Yeah, what's relevant to the dish in terms of the exact dish themselves?
So the exact dish, they're all healthy dishes as well, and that's quite relevant to today's market. But each of them have, different cooking techniques, healthier cooking techniques, but also they're looking at sort of a fusion of authentic ingredients as well as the new ingredients, and bring them together in a whole new creative endeavour, really.
Sure. Brilliant. If I can also ask another one of Mr. Zakari again, if I can ask you.
I think the customers, they will look for the presentation and the taste, and they would like to know what are they eating. So basically the healthy food, it looks nice, and the ingredients. So yeah,
and that's very important. If we move on to our mentors, if I can ask our chef, Mr. Atikur Rahman, in terms of marketing and branding the dish that you've seen, obviously what advice in terms of Jalali chicken? Obviously that was your dish that you made. Unfortunately, Adnan's not here with us today, but how would you market or brand that dish, or what tips can you give?
Well, thank you, Halal bhai. আসলে কিন্তু আমরা যে জালালি চিকেন যেটা আসিল is very easy to make, only take about 5 minutes, and is cost about £3, and is a lot of flavor, and it's not sea salt, but every salt is coming from sea anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
and is a healthy option as well. We use a green grilled chicken and everything.
Perfect, thank you. If I move on to Mr. Habib, obviously you're also a mentor. Obviously your dish was, I forgot the name of the dish. There's so many dishes.
Slow roast ox cheek.
I mean, even the name sounds absolutely yummy just by the way it's actually said. I mean, obviously, how would you market and brand? What advice would you give to your mentee that you actually had?
Well, first of all, the name itself is very innovative and creative.
Yeah.
What you see, what you get basically. So you want a slow roasted ox cheek, you get it basically. Number one. Number two, in terms of the decoration, the look of it, it looks very nice, very healthy, you see. And in terms of its price, is very much value for money as well. And one thing I want to highlight here is aloo bharta. If you think about it, in Bangladesh, in India, aloo bharta is from our childhood. Yeah. So everyone know aloo bharta. So what this chef has done, he made aloo bharta into a high class, branded in such a way so that it is healthy, and aloo bharta has become mainstream. So I would like to see him doing more social networking and marketing to brand it even more vigorous way, so that everyone can buy this product.
Sure. Obviously, we've heard from the mentors. I think it's about time we actually heard from the contestants themselves. If I can call on stage first, Zia Chaudhry from Mumtaz. You're back on stage? Yep. This time around, we've only got a minute for you, so we're going to try it very simple and short. Tell us how you would market and brand your dish. Your time starts now.
Okay. The marketing side of it, our restaurant is big, massive on social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but we mainly concentrate on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, I've got a percentage of followers that have a lot of followers. So basically, if I put this tweet out about this dish and 5 of my customers retweet it, I'll get to 200,000 people within 5 retweets. So straight away I can get out there. The Instagram shows the picture of how fantastic the colors are, the different items are, and everything else. So I've got the picture there, and then I've got the description on the Twitter. Automatically I get to 200,000-300,000 people by the time I put it on Twitter for everyone to come and try it, and within that week we had quite a few people asking to try it, so it worked for me. In terms of the unique selling point, I think, like I said, offal and stuff like that, nobody's using it enough yet within our Indian restaurant sector, so I haven't seen it on many.
I'll let you finish the last sentence.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on many restaurants, but by the time somebody else has copied it, we would have moved on anyway. So
perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. If I go on to our special judges, if I can ask Mr. Ruhal, obviously from what you've heard, obviously how would you market and brand a new dish on a menu?
Okay, I mean, Mumtaz, I'm quite taken by how current he is with his dishes.
Yeah.
And I've seen
What tips would you give to our contestants?
Just be frank, be honest with your produce, what you're actually selling to the consumer, with the diners, your takeaway, and what dishes you have to offer. Change it every so often.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. If I can move on, if we can get our next contestant to come on stage, Mr. Abdul Kashim from Chili Bar and Kitchen. You're back on stage, yeah?
Thank you. Yes.
Right, so you've got 60 seconds to talk. How would you market and brand your new dish? Any time starts now.
Okay, we will market this dish by offering free samples to our customers, which will provide us with feedback. This is our market research at a relatively low cost. The free samples will be offered to customers waiting for tables or in the bar area. We'd also offer incentives to the customers when they order a full-size version of the mini sample at a future visit. We'd also use review cards so the customers can leave comments. This engages the customer and lets them know that we value their opinion. We'd also use our website, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to highlight the new dish. We'd also use customer receipts to advertise the new dish, offering discounts for the new dish. We'd also market this dish as coming from sustainable, environmentally friendly source. And lastly, we will train our front of house staff to encourage customers to order the new dish. Thank you.
That was perfect. Yep, you still had 10 seconds, but you cut it short. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yep. Obviously, we've heard from our contestant there. I think if we get all the contestants out of the way first, and then we can go on to the judges. If I can ask Mr. Aziz Mia from Red Chili to come on stage. Same again, Aziz, you're back on stage. Again, we've got 60 seconds to tell us how will you market and brand your new dish, and your time starts now.
Yeah, thank you. I think first thing, it's really important to get a photographer in to get pictures, really good quality pictures of your dish. For me, it'll be part of a specials menu. I mean, for me, my channel of marketing, which has been really popular for me, has been social media. So, we talked around Twitter, Facebook, so kind of create a suspense around it. We've done it for the summer menu, where I created a suspense for 2 or 3 weeks, and then got the summer menu on there, and it's been a massive success so far, where it's a tapas style, similar I will do with this dish as well. I found bloggers, so I found a blogger who's a crustacean. So get bloggers in, to try your food, get articles out there for the papers, for magazines. I use radio a lot. I've got a really good link with the local radio. It's got 40,000 listeners. If I'm creating a specials menu, I will get it straight on there just to get to that audience. That 40,000 audience is massive for me. Summer menu, again, I've done it on there, and it's made a massive difference. And benefits of a fish dish, the healthy aspect of it, promote that, use that as a marketing.
I'll let you finish your last sentence. We've run out of time.
That's it anyway. So that's how I would market it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Aziz. Yes, grand. Yeah, we've heard from our contestants, and it's about time that we go back to our special judges. Judges, obviously, we've actually heard from the contestants about, they're talking about presentation and visual display and getting a cameraman in. How important is that, do you feel? If I can ask the ladies first.
That's quite important as well. Definitely, that's very important. But one thing I think nobody has mentioned, and in today's world, the one of them in business, the word collaboration is very important. For example, when we buy something, sometimes from time to time we get from Tesco, for example, they say that if you buy this, then you will get a Legoland ticket. So if they can collaborate with other established business, that if you buy this, then you will get a free sample of this new dish.
Thank you.
That will spread the message.
Thank you. If I go to panel judges, who you're a chef and an educator. You've heard from our contestants there. I mean, what tips and advice could you give them to try and market and brand their new dish?
Well, I mean, I think they seem to have it nailed, actually. I was quite impressed, really, by everything that they're all doing. They all seem very much with it when it comes to the social media and even the advertising on a receipt and, you know, talking about the dish, building up suspense, you know, and you know, I like the fact that, you know, they don't let anything get too boring because it's really important to work seasonally. So obviously mentioning the fact that you've got this lovely dish going on in the summer menu really highlights the fact that you've, you know, added a little bit of, you know, oomph to your menu so people don't get too bored with what's already there and too complacent. Customers can get complacent and then they start looking elsewhere and they start looking at other restaurants. So it's nice to see that actually, I think, you know, these would be some of my tips would be to just keep the menu fresh, keep the ideas fresh, you know, definitely use social media. And I like the fact that using social media and certain bloggers and influencers is actually the way forward, is to use those influencers on social media who would then talk about your product.
So it's important to actually have social media as a key.
Absolutely, that should be your best friend, really. That is really the way forward.
Great advice, thank you. If I can pass the same question on to Mr. Samad.
Well,
how would you?
I think the 3 restaurants, they're doing everything possible. I would just make a comment about in the past, we heard that they engage their businesses within the local community. They sponsor charities. They have charity nights and also local events. So I think in addition to what they're doing, if they include these areas, then they cannot go wrong.
So far,
word of mouth is very important.
Yeah. And Mr. Shangirbath, same question to you. Obviously, what tips and advice would you give them? Obviously, you've been in the health and safety.
I think all of them are actually using the social media. Key for marketing and branding, which is very good. Leafleting will be another option. Advertising in the local papers could be helpful as well. And one thing we have to remember that these are the guys who are not only promoting or marketing their own products, but in fact they are spreading their own culture and custom, history and heritage, trade and tradition, fashion or fusion, whatever you name it. They are doing it for you, me and everybody else, because they are the catering ambassadors of their own country. So these are something that in parallel to promoting their own product, they should look after their own culture and custom as well.
Sure, thank you. I think we've heard from my panel judges, but I think it's about time to actually put our contestants back in the hot seat. So if I can ask our contestants to come back on stage. If I can first ask Mr. Ziad Chaudhry from Mumtaz. You'll be in the hot seat for a couple of minutes. So obviously our special judges will be asking you just one question each, if that's possible. If I can ask with Mr. Tanim.
My question would be to Ziad Chaudhry from Mumtaz. Okay. Yes, you've shown the creativity, shown the passion, you've shown the innovation, right? What's your motivation? What makes you do this, basically?
I think basically our generation of restaurateurs, we want to get out of the curry house mentality, and we want to be known for our cuisine. So I think if we don't highlight and reproduce great things, we're still going to be a curry house. So to try and get it, I want my restaurant not to be labeled as a curry house, but a restaurant, you know, so that's my motivation. So I think, you know, across the board, that's what I'd like to see for our industry, is just to take our level of restaurants up with the French and the Spanish and everybody else. You know, so.
Brilliant. If I can, obviously, panel judges, now's your chance to actually grill our contestants. If I can ask Mr. Samad to ask a question specific about marketing and branding.
Well, marketing and branding, we have heard about marketing quite a bit. And what would you do about branding that item or that
who would you like
dish?
to direct that question to? Would you like to direct it to one person?
So the question to you now.
Yeah, I think it's, again, I think I spoke about it, is you have to get a professional photographer in, make sure it's visually looks good. Everything I've done is at a professional level at Red anyway, so not dropping that quality. And then when you put it on your paper, social media, on magazines, it looks the part. And that kind of visual aspect of the dish is very, very important. So when people see it, they want to eat it. It is simple. Yeah, I mean, so that's how I look at it, is getting the photographers in, make a high spec pictures and stuff for it.
Great, thank you. If I can ask Mr. Shagir Bok, if you can ask Mr.
Abdul Kashim.
Yeah, can I ask him a quick question from Chili Kitchen and Bar?
Yes, I like the way he presented himself and your dish as well. Can you tell me, in terms of marketing and branding, what did you find the difference after you started marketing and branding your new dish?
Well, obviously this dish at the moment is still being marketed in the restaurant, so we've got our customers still trying it out. But the way we would market it would, and I've discussed this earlier on, would be through social media, through the diners that are coming into the restaurant, getting their feedback, getting reviews from them, what they think about it, and also on our till receipts we would give off money off vouchers for them to try and to encourage them to come and try those dishes. And then on to mass marketing. But at the moment, with these dishes, we're still on the earliest. This is a new dish for us. We've just created this, but 4 weeks ago, I think we started it. So it's still early days for us to market this to the masses.
But you hope for the best.
Fingers crossed, inshallah.
Hi, Julia. Yep, coming to you now. If obviously we've got any question for you? Any question from your side?
Yeah, I mean, I
want to cover.
Going back to Zia Chowdhury about your the fact that you've made those beautiful little potato things, they're very nostalgic dish.
Yeah.
Obviously, something from childhood. What I was going to ask, really, to you and to everybody actually, is that the dishes that you make, does it also still fit in with your ethos, your mission, your vision as restaurateurs, the message that you're trying to get across,
Yeah, I think so, definitely. The aloo bharta, the tomato chutney, which is on every household, I think, from my point of view anyway, we're bringing dishes from home now and highlighting them into like extravagant dishes. So aloo bharta, very simple, wilted spinach. Our restaurants, most restaurants do them. They pan fry them. If you get fresh spinach and just garlic and salt, it's the best taste in the world. So all these dishes that we have at home and that we've had in our childhood and stuff like that, if we get these recipes, which are very simple, very easy to make for everybody, and then is bringing our generation and our previous generations' food across, so.
Brilliant, thank you. If I can get Shahina, obviously you being a chef and also looking at the healthy nutrition road, is there a question that you want to ask all three of our contestants?
Well, actually, yes, I do. But this is not related to health. This is more about the marketing side of things. I know, well done for everyone basically using social media for their dishes. I think that's brilliant, and that is the way forward. And just about social media, have you ever considered about collaborating with your customers and making it more of an interactive experience? Say they would become more emotionally invested, or say if they were given a competition to name the dish, or for example, if you asked them what exactly they wanted before you even created a dish, what were they looking for in a new dish?
I think with this particular dish, we did our own market research of what the customers would want to see on the dish.
Yeah.
And time and time it came up, the thing that came up was healthy. So this was almost hammered home. So whatever method we're using now, we need to think about how we can create a dish that is extremely healthy. And also, I think we need to look at, if we're using fish, sustainable fishing, which is very important. I don't think we've given enough emphasis on that. Sustainable fishing. When we buy the products, where's the source? Are we sourcing it, or where is it coming from? And I think those things are very important for us to look at and consider.
Brilliant, thank you. Same question obviously goes to Mr. Red. I can see you without your T-shirt on today. Last time you had a...
I did
yes,
indeed,
yes.
yeah.
So the same question goes to what...
No, I think that's a very good one. That interactive kind of around Facebook is very, very important. We haven't yet with this dish, but I'll give you an example. Like we've been doing competitions for the World Cup when England are playing.
That's
it
great.
gets, so we said guess the score, and if they guess the score, they get a £30 free takeaway against something. When the dish is ready to be marketed, that's something we will do. You know, try a new dish kalanji, or you know, it's up for free. You know, let's do a competition around it. But again, I got a marketing person who does all that solely for me, which helps us. But he's created a buzz around the World Cup for us. So that interactiveness is very important.
Absolutely, even if it's not money off, it could be an ingredient related to the World Cup for the country that's playing at the time, and it makes it go viral as well. So that's what you want in social media.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. And same question to you.
In terms of this dish, I have about sort of 5 or 6 brand ambassadors for my restaurant, so on Twitter and stuff like that. So what I tend to do is trial out a dish with about 10, 15 different people, and these guys are influential people within our sort of our area, our region, and stuff like that. So if they kind of start talking about it, it's already gone out there. And like I said before, Twitter is our main sort of medium, and thankfully and luckily I've got sort of a few people, and we have put questions out there. What would you like to see on the menu and stuff? Yeah, what would you like to see on the menu? And time and time again, people, you know, what do you guys eat? That's what we want to see, you know. So and that's where we're going with our food, I think, you know. So.
That's great, thank you. Before we go to Mr. Rahul, obviously we've heard a lot from the contestants. Rahul, is there anything you want to ask them? That question that can be aimed at one of the contestants in terms of marketing and branding.
Right. I just want to say, I mean, I've seen your restaurants and menus and everything else. In-house desserts, have you focused on that? That's just across all your restaurants. So I would like to see if you've made a seasonal sweet dessert menu. So if I would like to ask Mumtaz, please, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our dessert menu from 10 years ago has been a big focus, because, you know, I'm sort of against the frozen lemon sorbet and that sort of thing. So we have a coconut fob, which everybody has at home. Is grated coconut in a pastry, served warm with vanilla ice cream. My sister-in-law makes it. I pay her. She bids it. Everybody's working, but the coconut fob is something freshly made that's been on the menu. All my desserts are, and there's 2 other desserts which come in fresh every day. There's 2 chefs on a farm that sell desserts to other restaurants and stuff like that, but they make it fresh, so nothing frozen.
Thank you, Kashin Bhai. Thank you. Yeah, we've got very limited time. Thank you. Obviously, is there anybody else that...
I'd just like to say, Rahul Bhai, I think we served you a dessert when you were at my restaurant, so perhaps you could comment on it.
Thank you. Also, same question goes to Aziz. What Rahul just asked you as well.
Yeah, I know you've been there. No, we haven't gone traditional, obviously.
Okay.
We've gone for the Movenpick high-end ice cream aspect of it. But it's a great, I think someone's picked up, like, go for homemade.
That's right, yeah. In-house more.
We haven't. There is something again for us, another avenue to go into. Okay. I'm still new into it, learning a lot. So, yeah, no, good feedback from that as well.
Brilliant. I think it's important that we actually have a lot of questions covered there, and the contestants done really well being grilled, and you've done really, really well there. Obviously, we'll find out what happens next just after the break. Welcome back after the break. Judges, I think all the judges, you're sweating a bit under the collar. It's time to judge, and our panel judges, you have 20 points each. And also our special judges, you both have, all 3 of you, have 10 points each. Now obviously, we've looked at all the different rounds, and we've looked at things like presentation, the food, innovation, what their story is, how they've been marketing, branding their product. So let's find out from the last 3 rounds what the score is at the moment. So to go with, let's have a look what's happened here. And we have, we have Slow Roast with in first position, and then we have Salmon Aspara in second, and Kalanji from Red Restaurant in third place. If we do the combined results, let's see what happens there. Yep, no change, but nothing, no despair. If we look at the points, we have Slow Roast with it's quite 258, and we have Salmon Aspara with 260, and so it's quite close between them two. And we have Kalinji from Red Restaurant with number 2. Yeah. So Salmon Aspara from Chili Kitchen is at the moment in first place, followed by Montaz Restaurant in second, and behind is Red. But there's no despair. We've still got one more round to go. So let's go to round 4. Round 4 is all about cost, price and profit. And I think that's what the bottom line is, to actually find out what the cost price is and what the profit is of each dish. If I can call back on stage our contestants to come back on stage. If I can first ask our good friend from Red to come on stage first.
Aziz Mia.
Yep, we've heard about your dish and we've heard about everything else, but obviously this round is about cost, price and profits. And for this round, same again, you've got 60 seconds to tell us about your cost and your price and the profit. And your time starts now.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, the cost of the ingredients and everything to create Kalanji was £7.50. So again, it's using quality sea bass. So the cost is quite high. Again, it's something that I've done. I add the staff cost as well, and other costs. So you have to add that to it when you're creating a dish. So the total cost would be £12.35 to create that dish. Now, for me, I would sell that dish at $19.95 with a profit margin of over 60%. Again, for me, the area I'm from, I think certain areas you probably could put a higher price, but where my menu is at the moment, I think it's a reasonable price to charge for a special dish that I've created. Again, for me, it's the product is very important. I mean, customers are willing to pay decent price if the product's good. So I believe the product I've created is very nice. It's different. It's got a wow element to it. Customers will not have any problem paying $19.95 for that.
Perfect, spot on time, brilliant, thank you. If I ask the same question to Mr. Momtaz himself.
Yeah, so cost price of the dish around £3.50 to £4. So I buy a 500 gram ox cheek, cut it in half, cost me about £2.50. The rest of the ingredients, potato cost nothing, spinach cost nothing. So all included about £4 to £4.50. I think the cost of the dish would be. I've put in on at £18, which gives me an 80% gross profit on the dish. But I know, to be honest, if I was initially marketing it, I'd put it on at £18. But if I went further with it, I can easily go to £22. So at the moment, £18 gives me an 80% gross margin on it. And if I went to £22, I could do, because the whole dish itself has got everything included in it. So you don't need to add anything extra. You don't need to add any rice. You don't need to add any naan. And if you want to upsell it, I'll sell you a taco dal with it. So
very good, thank you, very good. Yes, thank you. Still in time, and obviously, Mr. Kashim, same question goes to you. If you can tell us about your cost, price, and profit, and your time starts now.
As a consumer already has a price mind that they are willing to pay for a product, we had to undertake a market research on how much the customer would be willing to pay for this dish. We put this to the customer that tried out the dish. And based on that research and our own cost price, we could sell this dish at $13.95. Our cost price in producing this dish is about £4.50. Now, the margin is quite high. The average, pretty much the average in the industry. The problem we may face as far as cost control is concerned is waste. However, this can be overcome by buying the product fresh about 3 times a week. Raw salmon will last in the fridge for a maximum of 2 days. As I've stated earlier, these products are readily available from any fishmongers or supermarkets. Any restaurant owner or chef that wants to provide their clientele with fresh ingredients should be prepared to go out and source this multiple times every week. Also, if you wish to keep the costs down, you may wish to look at the thickness of the fish.
Just in time. That was perfect. Just in time. Wow, we've heard from the contestants. Obviously, we've got one of our mentors here, Mr. Mujib Rahman from Media Link. How are you? Good. I'll come back to you in a second. Yep. Hopefully, we can all talk and find out what's going on here. Now, judges. Obviously, our panel judges are here, and obviously, what yourself earlier, Mr. Samad, you mentioned about costing.
Costing.
Yes. So I'll hand the mic over to you.
Very important. So, how did you work out your cost? The question to you all.
So there's a formula, obviously, of £18 minus £4 equals £14. £14 divided by £18 times 100, 77%. So there's a formula to work out your cost.
No, I don't mean that. How did you work out that it's going to cost £4? Because there will be wastage, there will be everything you
Yeah, with my dish, there isn't a lot of wastage because aloo borta, the spinach, the salad is all prepped on the day. So there's not a lot of... The ox cheek is obviously pre-cooked. And to be honest, with with our restaurants, is a 2 to 3 shelf life in the fridge. So everything's rotated 2 or 3 days anyway. So.
And same to Aziz Mia?
I did it simply. Every ingredient that went in there, I put a cost to it. Again, when we talk about wastages, all the ingredients we already got in the restaurant was used for others apart from the sea bass. Sea bass is the only thing that comes in. That again, is something that you can reuse and there won't be no wastage around that. So I've just added all the ingredients that's gone on there and made a cost price to it. And then I always added the staff cost and everything else to it to get the...
Thank you. Same to you.
I already
same question to you.
The cost price, obviously, you take into account the cost of your raw ingredients and then you add other factors in. Now, as I stated earlier, there is wastage, but you should be, as far as our dish is concerned, you should be able to avoid wastage if you are buying fresh fish on a regular basis. And like I say, if you're going out there and you're buying fish 2-3 times a week, I mean, we're lucky, we live in a market town, so we have a market every Wednesday and Saturday, and it's very close to our restaurant, so we can quite easily send someone over and pick up some fish, fresh fish, on the day. So costs always will be down with the large margins quite easily. Thank you.
Same question, obviously, we've looked at the costing, we've just started on that. Obviously, when actually, the answer that we've heard so far is, the cost of the raw product and then the selling price. But there's no mention of competition or neighbouring businesses in terms of what they can do. Is there anything you would like to ask the contestants that could relate to taking into consideration competition?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is an area that I tend to teach with a lot of the apprentices that I work with as well, is factoring in the area that you're in and obviously who your competition is. So do you think that the costs of your dishes are in line with the sort of rest of the marketplace in the area, but also in line with your brand?
Okay, so obviously during our previous thing, the restaurant design and everything else that we've done is sort of with our competition a bit more sort of upmarket. So we've gone with that upmarket sort of menu and stuff like that. So for someone to put an ox cheek on my competitors within my region anyway, it would look sort of abnormal on their menu, but wouldn't look totally... I have other things like venison and quail and stuff like that on the menu. So the people that I'm getting in my restaurants, they want this type of cuisine. So within my region, the competitors are kind of like sort of a... I don't want to diss anyone, but they're a little bit behind on their sort of thing. Yeah. So
I think I already mentioned earlier is that a consumer already has a set price in mind that they are willing to pay for a product. However, it's a signature dish. It's a unique dish, and it's unique to us. So hopefully, the secret's not out just yet, but other competitors haven't or don't have this particular dish. So we can perhaps, price it at slightly higher than what's available. So yes, definitely, because it's unique, we can price it accordingly.
Yeah, I think it's a great point around competition. So for me, competition is not the other Indian restaurant just around the corner. It's all the other restaurants that are out there in Wellington. I'm in a town centre, so as I said, I've just been open over a year, so my prices already are not, as I say, it's not very high compared to the competition, because when I opened, I wanted to get the customers in when maybe a bit price comes in. But now I'm in a position where I built that brand, I've changed the menu, the prices are going up. Me charging $19.95 for a dish, I think the product says for itself. I think that it will sell. And so for the diners who've tried it, some of them have mentioned higher, they're charging higher than what I stated. So I think it won't be a problem in that sense.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Obviously, if we can go to one of our mentors, Mr. Mujib, you were one of the mentors for one of the contestants. If you and obviously you yourself, you run your own marketing agency, and what are your thoughts? How can they market and brand the new dish that they're putting on their menu?
I'm mentoring Aziz. We've had a very brief encounter only about a week ago. What I said to him, and I'll say to everybody else, whenever you market anything, you've got to start off with the product itself. Yeah. So your dish, your food...
The sea bass dish, the kalanji.
The sea bass dish, or I'm saying generally to everybody. For me, marketing is all about the actual product itself. If your product is good, you'll get customers, you'll get referrals, and that is the best form of marketing. So you could do all the social media and all the glitzy promotional activities, but if the customers come in and they don't enjoy the food or the ambience or the surrounding, it's not going to last for very long. So I said to Aziz, make sure you concentrate on the dish itself. If your dish is good, people will be prepared to pay whatever price that you put on there. So to me, that's a very, very critical part of any marketing. So.
Sure. Thank you. And moving on to Mr. Barry yourself. You yourself run a banqueting, a big banqueting venue and a banquets events company. So obviously, hearing from what our contestants have said in terms of costing and price management and price points, what tips or advice could you give them moving forward?
No, I think the way they're doing, they created new dishes. I think that is the right way forward, and everybody's done really well. I should congratulate them. That is, they're using all the technique. They're using social media. They're using the right ingredients, healthy ingredients with spicy twist in it. I think they're doing very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on to Shahina, if I can quickly ask you a question. Obviously, with Brexit coming next year, and do you think the contestants have taken into consideration the issue of maybe the price, of overheads going up next year? Do you think that's something that may have been put into the equation, or do you think?
I think they would have looked at it on a broad sense, but I would say that some of the ingredients are going to be affected. So they may not have looked at it in detail, but we can't tell for certain how much it's going to be affected by. But I think in a broad sense they have.
Sure. Sure, that's good. Okay, sure. And also, looking at the price point from what they've actually given to on their menu, because obviously we're looking for something that can be universal, used up and down the country if these go through to the semi-finals. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. The ingredients, again, about Brexit as well, the ingredients are quite commonplace. They're not unusual ingredients that need to be exported especially or imported especially. And I think that they have actually considered that. These can be replicated nationwide. I think with the ox cheek, it needs to be considered other ingredients can be used in place of ox cheek. So that might be something to be looked at.
Sure, brilliant, thank you. Moving on to Ruhul Shamsuddin. Is there a question you'd like to ask the contestants, a very brief question?
I think the questions have been done, most of it, by the judges. I think they've done just exceptionally well.
So there's no question you'd like to ask them now?
There's no questions.
Sure? Perfect. Yep.
I've got my sweet dishes. So
lovely, lovely. And moving on to Tanim, moving on to you, a question that you'd like to ask the contestants?
I think there's been a lot of questions and a lot of answers, right? But being one of the judges, I must also confess that I've learned bits and pieces today as well from these three contestants. So once again, congratulations. You are leading by example. Carry on doing it, and we'll be there to support you as well. Well done.
Fantastic, great news, great news. Let's ask one more question. Mr. Habib, if I can ask you very, very briefly, is there a question that you'd like to ask the contestants?
Yes, one question to brother over here on these two sides basically. The dish that Zia Chaudhary is making, he will be selling it for £18, all in one basically. So £18 he give
a plated dish.
But your dishes are like does it include the side dishes as well? So if you include the side dishes, is the price going to be like 25 plus, or is it all in one?
Well, with our particular dish, it's salmon, so you have the salmon, and you have asparagus, vegetable, so you don't need any side dishes. And on the plate itself, you can serve it either with basmati rice or salad, with mixed salad. So you wouldn't need anything else, unless you're a huge eater, but the chances are you'll be full. Yeah, you'll be full, and you wouldn't need to order anything else. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Burry, coming back to you again. Obviously, like we've looked at costing and we've looked at the pricing and the product itself. A last tip that you could give these contestants.
No, I think they should look for. I think taste is the main ingredients for any dish you think, and pricing is the important thing, and they're doing well, and you should look for cost effective. The more is good for value for money, customer definitely will like it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Folks, we haven't got a lot of time, so we'll come to the scores very, very soon. Before that, if I can ask our panel judges, thank you very much for coming today. And a closing comment, 15, 20 seconds that you'd like
I
to
think
give
it's
them.
been an excellent
Thank you.
episode, and you have done very well. We are very much satisfied and with your innovative dishes and ideas. Thank you.
Me, I would just say, at the end of the day, start as you mean to go on. All of the categories really just merge into one. You know, pricing is a perception. At the end of the day, start as you are, and if you think that dish is worth that money, you price it at that money, and people will pay for it.
Brilliant, thank you. And Mr. Fogg,
huge thank you to all of you. Whatever you are doing, not only you are doing good for yourself, for your business, but for the entire industry. So I think I should give you a big congratulations. But don't forget to maintain your own stock rotation, which is very important. And nobody mentioned it today, but I hope you have your own stock rotation policy as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Good news. The results are in, and it's not up to me. It's up to our judges on this side, the panel judges, and our special judges. Thank you everyone today for coming, and also to our mentors for helping out with your time and efforts. The actual results for this last round are in, and here we go. So we have, I can't, for this round, we have 86 with slow roast ox, and then we have 78 with salmon aspara, with Kalinji is 68, and Jalali is 0. But who knows what can happen if I press this button, fingers crossed. I mean, you're all winners here today. Now we'll actually have the combined result from today's episode, and here we go. And we have salmon aspara with 338, and we have in slow roast with 344, and we have Kalinji with 260, and Jalali with 67. So congratulations. We have, congratulations to our good friend here, Salmon Aspara. Slow roast. But bear in mind, this is only for this episode. So we don't know. You're only for this episode. We've got a few more episodes coming on. I mean, obviously you're the first 4 contestants. We've got another 8 more coming through. So you never know. There's nothing to lose. All I can say is chin up, head high. Let's move on. Yeah, thank you very much again. Now, guys, thank you very much for watching today's episode. It's been hard work today. We've seen so many recipes, and those dishes looked absolutely yummy on TV. It's made me hungry, and I think everybody else is hungry as well. Our next episode will be on the 7th of August, Season 3, Restaurant Challenge Show, Episode 2. Please, 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 please watch it. And now we'll go to the clip to look at the next shows. Thank you very much.